Welcome to lunchtime. We are going to have a fun time today. It's going to be fun. Lots of chit chat. We're going to talk about some things that are necessary. We are going to take a look at some of the things that are happening to us. And we want to be able, hey, blue skies, good morning. Yes, it's still morning for you, but it's lunchtime for us, but that's okay. Now, I'm just glad that you're here. I'm hoping you're feeling better because I know you've been a little under the weather. So I hope you're much, much better. Today is going to be fun, and it's just me today. So I am just thrilled to be right here with all of you. Now, a couple of little tidbits we have to take care of, the housekeeping chores. Now, first of all, if you are not a member of the Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme family, I certainly hope that you will join by subscribing. And before you leave, be sure to hit that little um, thumbs up, because all of those things help to keep this channel going and to let me know that you're interested in the things that we do. And we are going to take time today. We're taking a breather today, because if you look behind me, remember we were talking about the tired cabinets. Well, those are going to disappear very soon. And so we are going to, it's such a blessing to be able to do that. I am really excited. And so, we're going to be looking at some things that are going to be happening. We've talked about projects and getting all those things done. And certainly everything is in place. And I'll keep you abreast of what's going on as far as kitchen is concerned. But you know what? We're a family. And our YouTube family is as important as those that we have every day, because they're people that we talk to, people that we pray for, people that we love on. And we want to make sure that all of you are well covered. And, I take that especially serious right now. And that's because of the fact that, we've got a lot of stuff going on here in the United States. And those are the things we're going to talk about today. And also, we're dealing with things. I see Amazon and Blue Skies and Kim and Centric. We are going to take a look at what's happening in our own house, in our own backyard. And those are the things that are going to impact us the fastest. But we're also going to take a moment for those who are far away and who are experiencing things that are absolutely devastating, absolutely awful. And by that I'm talking about those who are from Ukraine. There are many people right here in the United States that have relatives over in the Ukraine, and my heart is certainly with you. And I know everyone in the chat that they as well have expressed their concerns and their thoughts and their hearts. And we are just trying. It's been a whirlwind. The past 3 years have been a whirlwind, and we are forever trying to find our balance. I never thought that finding our balance would be so challenging. And I can't think of a time that has been quite this crazy. So let's take a look at that. Now, I've got notes today to make sure that I cover everything. Now, one more thing in those housekeeping chores, I want to remind those of you who are creators. I'm hoping that you will participate this week. There are 2 collabs that are going on this week. Wednesday, I'm hosting the One Pot Meal collab. And I'd love for you all to video a one pot meal and jump in. And I'm going to keep that link. Yoo-hoo! We got somebody else coming in the kitchen. All right. She's trying to get a quick sip. Let's get her in. She'll let me know when she's ready. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready, and I'll bring you in. And we have a guest today, a surprise guest for all of you. And certainly my friend and buddy is coming in today. And I am so excited to have her with us. Hello, Denise. How
Hey
are
everybody.
you?
I am great. I am so glad I could jump on and join you today.
Yeah, I am so sorry. I went today. I went, oh, I forgot to send her the link. I'm so sorry. I waited till the last minute, but you know how it is. It's been
I
a little
do.
crazy this week.
I
But
do.
you
I
know
know.
what? I was just telling everyone that we have a collab coming up. In fact, two collabs coming up this week. And one is our one pot meal that's coming up on Wednesday. And I hope many of you will participate. And Denise is writing it down just in case she doesn't, so she won't
I
forget.
had it on my
And
list.
I know you did. I know you won't forget. I know you got it. And also on Saturday is the spring kitchen vignette of 2022. And so that is Saturday, both of which deploy at 2. And I've decided actually with the one pot meal, since it's midweek, I will keep the link for that live for a couple of days just to give everybody time because the last time several people came in a little bit late and it just took time to get everybody in, so I don't want to leave anybody out. I want everyone to participate because certainly we're going to talk about why our one pot meals are so important. And we've talked about that before. The spring kitchen vignette is one of those things that we enjoy. And I'm so excited really to have Denise here today because I thank you to Denise. Denise is was our host from the beginning. She is the one who birthed the kitchen vignette idea. And she was gracious and allowed me that when she was ready to move on to Apron Diva and get into some other things, she was able to pass it on to me. So I am very thankful for that, and I'm enjoying every moment of it.
Great.
So let's jump in here, Denise. We've got a lot of things going on, girl. It is just absolutely awful. Well, I made the mistake this weekend, and some of you may have done the same thing. Girls, look, look, talk to each other. How many of you went to the gas station this weekend? Oh,
I went to the gas station today. I told you I had to go to the
mhm,
dentist today, which is why I jumped
mhm,
on late. And I
mhm,
stopped at the gas station and gas was $4.25 a gallon. And I had decided
mhm,
that I'm going to try to keep my tank, like when I get to about a quarter tank down, I'm going to
mhm,
top it off. And when I got
mhm,
gas earlier, well, last week, I used my Kroger
mhm,
card and I had 40 cents off a gallon. So I got that gas for like 40 cents off whatever the price was. So I got it a pretty good buy, but still, it was over $50 to fill up my tank. And I got a small car. So today, I'm just a little bit under a quarter of a tank down.
mhm,
So meaning
mhm,
I almost had three-quarters of a tank, but not quite. $30
mhm.
to top it off. And it was I used my Kroger card and I got three
Mhm,
cents off the gallon. So it was 4.23 for me. $30.
mhm.
It was only about 8 gallons,
Oh,
not quite 8 gallons. It was just crazy.
it is crazy. I have an SUV, and unfortunately, I took it, and I don't drive a lot because, well, I just don't drive a lot. At this point, I don't have a lot of places to go during the week. I mainly drive it on the weekend. And when I went to fill it up on Saturday morning, as I was going to a store,
100.
I hadn't realized it was so low. I had like a quarter of a tank left. And as it ticked on past $50, I'm going, oh, I was in sticker shock.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's awful. Normally, I'm at about $40, $45 to fill it up. And I was just devastated, absolutely devastated. So, where you're going to wait until you get about a quarter, I think I'm going to wait to that halfway mark
Well,
and
here's the
then fill
thing,
it back.
Leah. This is what I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking. The gas I'm anticipating is only going to go up in price. Hopefully, it'll hold
Right.
where it is. But if it continues to
Yeah.
go up, the more gallons you need, the more it's going to cost. So I figure if I don't have to
True.
buy more than a quarter of a tank, if I could keep it somewhere around
Mhm.
$35 when I'm filling it up, then
Right.
that'll be great.
Right.
So, and I'm
Yeah.
like you too. I don't drive a lot of places. A lot of times when I do go, my
Mhm.
husband and I go together and he'll drive.
Mhm.
So, and my car is much smaller. His is larger. He came home the other day when he filled up his truck. He was like, oh my goodness. So I'm really trying to live differently. And I think as we talk about ways to
Mhm.
save money in the budget, that's one of the things I'm thinking
Mhm.
about. It's like, okay, so I've got to go to the dentist. I need to mail some birthday cards. I need to stop and check on my sister and check on her eyes. And I need to do this. I'm like, okay, let's just make a
Mhm.
little circle so that you can hit all these places. So when you get home, you are in.
I know, I know. That's what I did. I had a plan. I had three places I needed to go. I went to the farthest location first and
Yep.
worked my way back. But you know what? Thank goodness. Now, I don't know how many of our viewers have a Kroger or a Kroger that's somewhat, or a store that's somewhat like Kroger, in that you have the reward card where you can get gas reductions off of your gas. You earn points for your gas because it is amazing. And with the one pot, one meal, 1 month, one meal plan, it works out great because when you're spending about $300 a month for your groceries, those points add up pretty quickly, and
Yes.
that helps to take a significant amount off. And so I've got let's see, who is this? This is I've got Blue Sky. She said she had to fill up the other day. She said it was 422. It cost her over $50 to fill up. Woo! Woo! That's high. That's really high. I'm also
Mhm.
looking. She said her sister, you have a sister in DC? No,
Delaware.
in Delaware. And she said she paid over $70 to fill up her car. um, Melinda said she does have a Kroger in her area. And so, Melinda, I don't know where you shop, but it would certainly be to your benefit to
Mhm.
try to get one particular location with a reward card so that you're able to save some of, gas points along the way. Now, also my husband uses Exxon, and Exxon also has reward points. So you
Mm.
can sign up online for the Exxon reward points, and they total up. Well, we have four cars, so between the four cars, those Exxon points fill up, accumulate very quickly. And we have one car that requires 93 octane.
Mhm.
So when he's filling up, oh, it is awful. So most of our points usually go for that particular car.
Mhm.
Kim has said that Kim says that she hasn't had to drive much because she's been working from home. But she says she's going out tomorrow and fill up her tank. She has about three-quarters of a tank. She has a giant Eco card. Oh, good. And she has about $2 on that. So that's great. Every
Mhm.
dollar that you save, Kim, is going to be amazing. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I thought about being able to give you some tips. We're going to look at both our grocery and our budget, as well as we talked a little bit about our gas tank. Um, Hold on. Blue Sky said that she used Walmart thinking that she would get a deal since she has a Walmart card, but there was no discount. Oh, shame on them. Shame on them. Well, you know what, Blue Skies, we're going to have to complain because at this point, everybody should be given some points for something. If it's not off the food, then give us some points on our gas if they want us to
I
shop.
agree.
Okay. So I've got some tips that I've been looking up. Both Denise and I both have talked about in different shows. We've talked about the fact that we have been building our pantry, our regular pantry, as well as our additional pantry for times like this. And Denise has a special spot that she's used to put in all of her extra canned goods. And many of the creators have been looking at that additional pantry. And I know I tried to use, I've been using Mary's Nest idea with the four corners, where you're using all your
Yes.
four corners. And I actually use those, and I'm sure she does the same thing. She uses the four corners when you're checking to see what you have. And especially, you want to know before you go to the grocery what's in your house
Hmm.
and what you have, how much you have. And those are the kind of things you need to make sure that you have a running list. This is my thought. Have a running list so you can kind of check things off as you go. And that even helps you to develop a grocery list. Also, planning, planning, planning what it is that you're going to cook. Now, I'm a proponent of the 1 month plan. Everybody can't do that. I understand. And but if you can do 2 weeks, maybe you're paid every 2 weeks. And so if that's the case, you might want to do it on a 2 week plan rather than a monthly plan. Denise, what do you do?
Well, I
Do
used to
you do
just
it?
Well, I used to just buy groceries once a month. So I would buy them at the beginning of
Mhm,
the month or maybe that second week. But now
mhm,
I'm buying them weekly. But what I'm trying to do, which is different for me, is I'm putting myself on a food budget. So if I'm giving myself, say, $500 for the month, that's $125 a week. And I've actually taken the cash out of the bank and I put it in
mhm,
envelopes, and I have one envelope for each week for the month of March. And then when I go to the
mhm.
store, I can only spend what's in that envelope. And I have to tell you, Leona, I really looked at shopping a whole lot differently when I was thinking, okay, you got $125 in your purse. That's all you can spend. So I
Mhm,
am a person who's always like name brand things. I learned that from my dad.
mhm,
And so that's what
mhm.
I always do. I like Red Gold for my tomato products and I like Brooks for my beans. But trust me, when I was at the store the other day, I picked up quite a few that were the Kroger brand because I was like, okay,
Mhm,
the Red Gold was $1. The Kroger brand was 79 cents. I got the Kroger brand. Now there were a
mhm,
couple of things I
mhm.
didn't want to compromise on, like my orange juice. I like to buy the
Right.
Simply Orange and the Simply Lemonade,
Mhm,
those kinds of things.
mhm.
But butter, hey, I'll buy the Kroger brand. So I
Me
really,
too.
and the reason why I wanted to go to weekly is each week they have a different sale. And I wanted to be able to take
Mhm,
advantage of the sale that week. So, and
mhm,
when I went last week, I was trying to really focus on meat because I know there was a gap there because I've been using from my Four Corners pantry, particularly from my
mhm,
freezer. So I thought,
mhm,
okay, we need to replenish these things, especially as the food prices go up. So I figure
mhm.
that was like $1.19 a pound this week. Well, what's it going to be next week? You just don't know. So I'm trying to inflation proof my food bill by buying what I can
Mhm.
today at this week's prices, hoping it doesn't go up next week.
That's right. Well, it was ironic. I needed some ground beef for a Saturday show, and I had dug through all of my little spots, and I found I was out of ground beef. So I went to the store. But you know what? They had marked down the ground beef, and I think I ended up getting a 3 pound pack for about $6, which the last 3 pound pack that I got was almost 12. And
Wow.
so I thought, whoa, that was a good sale. So I grabbed two. And so, what I thought I would do to tweak the one plan and the one shop. I'm going to have a major shop at the beginning of the month, but I'm
Hmm.
going to hold out a certain amount of money during the for each week, so that should something come up that I need, that I know I've been struggling to find, I can. I got so tickled the other day when I was watching you with your grocery haul, because you were talking about the crackers
Oh.
and getting the name brand crackers. Well, I went to Food Lion. We have Food Lion. I don't know if you do, but I
Mhm.
went to Food Lion, and I was going to pick up some crackers because a big guy likes crackers. And the last time I bought crackers, I had to buy, an off brand. And he complained and complained and whined and complained. And so I thought, okay, I'm just not going to buy any crackers. So it just happened that I walked down the aisle where the crackers were, and I was like, oh my goodness, they were back to normal in the cracker section. They had Zestas, they had premiums, they had all the different varieties. I ended up with 4 boxes of crackers. I know this is terrible. I had to spank
I
myself.
bought
I
you.
picked up 4 boxes of crackers
Oh,
because
now
I
here's the
thought,
thing though. And see,
mm-hmm,
that's the thing. I have to remember, like, okay, I keep wanting to lean and get comfortable, but like, okay, here's the thing. So sometimes I watch the Alaskan Prepper. Now I don't watch him too much because I just get too
mm-hmm,
anxious from listening to him. There's just too much
mm-hmm,
stuff. And I'm just like, okay, my spirit just can't take in all this bad news. But one of the things he talked about was
mm-hmm,
wheat crops. And then I saw an ad,
mm-hmm,
not an ad, but an article somewhere that talked about that China said that this might be their worst wheat crop. So they've been buying a lot of wheat from other
mm-hmm,
places. I haven't heard anything about the wheat crop here. I don't know enough about futures to even talk about it. But I do know enough
mm-hmm,
to know that when an economy as big as China starts buying more of our wheat, that means there's less wheat for
mm-hmm.
us. And
That's right. That's
about with wheat, well, bread, flour, crackers, those
right.
kinds.
Hmm. Yes.
It's all cyclical. You know, I used to watch, well, the kids used to watch that Big Blue Marble, and it talked about the world
Mhm, mhm,
and how little and how we're all connected. I am beginning
mhm,
to see how much we really are all connected.
mhm,
So to try to plan ahead, Kroger's
mhm,
had premium saltines back in stock. So I bought 2 boxes of
mhm,
saltines, one that I put in the working pantry and one I put in the
mhm.
extended pantry. And they had Ritz crackers back. And I bought 2 of the boxes of
I
short,
love those.
one in the working pantry and one in the extended pantry, which is part of the Four Corners pantry, as Mary talks about. She's
Mhm,
got a new video out too that talks about how to save things right now. But for our
mhm,
young makers that are out there listening, it's like if you can afford it, buy two. For something that you know your family really needs, if you can afford it,
mhm,
we buy two or even three and put it back so
mhm.
that should it come around again that you can't find it, then because do you remember when rice was there was a shortage of rice? Did that happen in your community?
Yes.
See, we have a
Yes, it
huge
did.
Asian community here in our city, a huge
Okay.
Asian
Mhm,
community. And all of a sudden there was no rice in the stores. You just could not find any. And the minute they put some out on the shelf, it was like it disappeared. Well, there was a shortage of
mhm,
rice in other areas. And then as the
mhm,
news trickled down to that information, then there was less rice available here. And the rice that's
mhm,
here
mhm.
is going up in price.
Oh, can you believe it? It is amazing. It is amazing. Um, and talking about those store brands, I've gotten
Mhm.
used to Kroger store brand products for the most part. And with exceptional crackers, I can take most of it. But I mean, and you're like I was. I mean, when I was out and I was working, those checks were coming in. I didn't think anything of it. I would shop. I just go to the grocery, buy what I wanted, and put it in the car and load it up. And now for two reasons. Number one, when you're retired, things change financially. And
Definitely.
then let's not add in everything else is going on that also makes the changes to your budgets. And so we're trying to do that. Another suggestion that I found was, and I have used it even, is trying to buy in bulk. And the problem with bulk buying is that for those of us who are maybe a two-person family, when we buy in bulk, things hang around.
Mhm.
And so what I started doing was trying to work with my daughter, who's fairly close. So if I buy something in bulk, I'll say, okay, now I'm going to pick up some so and so. Do you need it? And we just
Mhm.
split whatever the order is and split the cost. And so I get extra, she gets extra. And because I have more time to go and shop the bulk places than she does, because she's, still working. But, sometimes even the bulk stores have deals, and which is really nice to be able to find. Um, Another thing was,
Well,
go ahead.
backing up to the bulk, I went to Costco's once. Leona, I was
Mhm.
so overwhelmed. Me and my husband we went with my niece and her mom. Because Chrissy has a Costco membership. She has a home daycare. So she buys in
Mhm.
bulk for lunches and stuff like that. So I asked her to let us come.
Mhm.
I wanted to see what all the hype was about. I was like,
Mhm.
I was so overwhelmed. I didn't know where to look. And they had so much stuff, number one. And then the things that I
Mhm.
wanted to get, I couldn't find some of them because I didn't know where to look. It is
Right,
huge.
right.
Then I thought,
It
I didn't know
is.
the price of a membership was worth it for the two
Mhm.
of us. Now, I was listening to Larry and Hope at Under the Medium, and they just bought either a
Mhm.
Costco or Sam's, one of those
I
memberships.
think it was
I decided that it would
Sam's.
be
I think
worth.
that's what it
Yeah, but I just haven't
was.
felt
Mhm.
like that was to spend that additional money was enough, was worth it for us. And then the
Mhm.
Costco's and the Sam's that we have here
Mhm.
is a good 30-minute drive. And my husband was
Okay. Okay.
like, I don't want to drive all the way out there. We got Kroger right over here. Or we can go to Walmart. It's like, I'm
Mhm.
not driving out there.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a force to be reckoned with. The only reason I continue is because back in the day, I had Sam's, I had Costco, and when BJ opened up, I even opened up BJ. I don't know if you have BJ's as well, but I had all three, and I pick and choose which one I was going to for the month.
Mhm.
And you could certainly find good deals. The only problem now, Sam's has more, I think, food. I want to say it has more food variety in that you can find some things that are a little
Mhm.
smaller quantity, not so massive. I buy a lot of salad stuff at Costco, and all of my paper products are from Costco.
Mhm.
The big guy has certain things, that he goes for, and it's
Mhm.
just strictly, we make that one Costco run pretty much once a month and just pick up whatever those particular items are. Now,
Mhm.
Melinda's saying that that's how she felt in IKEA, where she was kind of lost. She had only been there once. She said she has a Sam's, but she said she doesn't buy food there, too far away. And she said most of the time they don't buy in bulk. And food wise, if it's something that you really know you're not going to use often, then no, you aren't going to want to do it, because by the time you get through it, it's expired and you don't want to waste food, along the way. So, that's always an option for those with larger families. Another thing is, if you aren't a member of stores with loyalty programs, and certainly you want to be able to do that. And if you have a computer, which most of you do, and even your phone now has the apps for your stores, so that you're able to upload their coupons immediately as soon as the Wednesday or Tuesday, whichever day that your particular store changes out for the week. Those coupons are available to you so that you can just upload them, look at what they are, and put them over in your account, so that as you develop your groceries, you can do that. Now, for the big most of the time, I'm still doing grocery pickup. I
Mhm.
like that grocery pickup, and it saves me, because when I went back into the store, I was like a little kid in in a toy store. I
Mhm.
love going grocery shopping,
I
and
do
I want
too.
to go. Oh, I love it. I can get lost in there for an hour and a half. And my husband's up at the front with his arms folded, because he's trying to figure out why I'm taking so long. But, I'm getting to see. I'm
And
checking
you know
out
what?
all the things.
I I like going grocery shopping too. Now, when my husband goes with me, a lot of times he'll say, well, here, you
Mhm.
give me half the list and you take half the list and we'll go get it done. But I don't like to do that. I like to walk to the store together. Now, you guys are going to laugh at this, but when we first got married, I didn't know how to drive. So when we went to the store, he would drive me and we would walk through the store together and we would choose foods and stuff like that. And I enjoyed that. So
Yeah,
I like doing that now, but like he's like, look, let's hurry up and get out of here because I want to get home. The game's coming on or whatever. But yeah, so that's why I like for him to walk through the stores with me because it kind of harkens back to a simpler, sweeter time. Certainly, life has
absolutely.
quite a few changes since then, but
Mhm. I know. What's so funny is that I can remember probably 15 years ago, I would not have been able to pay Conway to go to the grocery with me. And when he retired first, and he was keeping my granddaughter when she was a baby. And what he would do is that I would just leave the grocery list here, and the two of them would go to the grocery while I was at work. And he got into the routine of going to the grocery. And
mhm,
so now, then once I came home, it's like, oh, you're going to the grocery? And he knows all his little spots. But the
yeah,
problem is that the grocery bill goes up because
yeah,
there's certain things he likes, and his little stuff he's got to buy. And so, I'm looking at my basket because normally by the time I get to the checkout, I know how much is in my basket. I can tell you almost within pennies as
mhm,
to how much it's going to cost. And when he's with me, it's like, well, where does that come from? And I just
exactly.
look at
Exactly. It's like they put in all kinds of things. But one of the things, speaking of that, though, my husband was talking to one of his fishing buddies about where
uh-huh.
to get fish. And his friend said Aldi's has a really good seafood counter. So Will went
Yes,
over
they
there
do.
to check it out, and he said he was impressed with the meat counter at Aldi's. He said it looks just as good, if not
Mhm,
better, than Kroger's, and he felt like they had better fish. Because he had been to Kroger
mhm.
to pick up something, and he said the fish counter had nothing. Like the seafood counter was
Right.
just about empty. And he left there
Mhm,
and went to Aldi's, and he had quite a bit. So he spent quite a bit stocking up the freezer on
mhm.
fish. So I said, well, I'll start as I pull out the money in the grocery envelopes, for the envelopes, I'll start setting aside a certain amount for fish so that when he feels like, okay, the fish is getting kind of low, I can just hand him the
Mhm.
envelope and he can go over there and get it. But I guess I say that to say, don't sleep on Aldi. That's not a place that I would normally shop. I might run in there and pick up this
Mhm,
and that because it's close to where one of my sisters lives. And so sometimes I would
mhm,
her, I might take her there, but, and I
mhm,
might drop in for like, I need some celery. So I run over there and grab that because it's pretty close. But I'm going to
mhm,
make it one of the places where I regularly stop on grocery day to
mhm,
see
mhm.
what selections they have. Wait,
Absolutely, absolutely.
was it Aldi or was it Save a Lot? It was Save a Lot. It was Save a Lot
Okay,
for
I
me.
have a Save a Lot here at the
Yeah,
beach.
it was Save a
Yeah.
Lot. We found the really good
Mhm.
prices on the fish. But then also I've been
Mm.
seeing people say that Aldi's also has good prices on quite compete with Walmart
Mhm.
pretty well. And so I'm
Mhm.
gonna start thinking
Mhm.
about dropping in and Save a Lot to see what they might have. And then certainly Aldi's had great produce.
Absolutely. Kim's saying that for items like flour, cornmeal, rice, she said she uses a store in her area that's called Mr. Bulky's,
Mhm.
and she said she could just get what she needed. She doesn't eat much bread, pasta, or rice as she used to. I know how that goes, Kim. I don't either, but I've gotten spoiled because now I make my own. So unfortunately, I'm kind of back into the bread, but
Mhm.
Blue Sky says that Aldi's is really huge over in Dubai. She has some girlfriends that live over there, and that's supposed to be a really nice area. But I actually, where I wouldn't go in Aldi's initially, the big guy did, and
Yeah,
he
my dad
loved
loved
it.
it. My dad loved going to Aldi. I've always
Yes,
gone
he
to
loved
Kroger.
it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have been a Kroger girl from day one because
Mhm.
that was our spot. I see we
Right.
got Dee on. Dee said that here she
Hey,
is.
Dee.
She said Safeway, hey Dee, has
Oh,
great produce. That's good to know. And she said, plus they have a lot of digital coupons that save her a lot. Those digital coupons are valuable.
mhm.
And I take that from an expert because Dee is into those coupons. She's really good at couponing, and where I'm not always very good at it. But we got into we talked about the store brand, we talked about our loyalty program.
Mhm.
One thing that, and you've talked about this as well, I'll develop a list, and as long as I put that list in my purse, I'm good. Or if
Mhm.
I do it online, I'm good. But if I forget the list, or I may not write a list. Yes, sometimes I put it on the phone. But when you go into the grocery store, at this point, we have to go with a list
Mhm.
because you'll be distracted.
And don't
It's
go
their
hungry.
job. No, don't go hungry. Don't go hungry because if you do, I promise.
I was watching somebody, and I can't remember who it was. It might have been Larry and Hope.
Mhm,
I'm not sure,
mhm,
but they were saying that the stores are set up to try to get you to buy more stuff, and they put things strategically in certain places. I had gone to
mhm,
TJ Maxx to return something, and then picked up some more
mhm,
stuff before I left. And while I was in the line waiting to check out, I picked up this bottle
mhm.
of hand wash, which I didn't need because I got at least 10 bottles of hand wash at home. But the bottle was pretty, and I wanted a pretty bottle. And I was blocking somebody behind me, and she said, "Oh, don't worry about it." She said, "They put this stuff here for us to look at and pick it up." And I
Yes,
thought,
they do.
she's right. And I picked it up just that quick and left the store. Well,
Mhm.
Kroger's and other places, they do the same thing. So we have
Same
got
thing.
to have our list. Don't go hungry. And then just like try to like go with blinders on and stick to our
Absolutely.
list unless you see something that absolutely positively
Mhm,
your
mhm.
family needs. And that's the thing I want to stress too is even if it's on sale, if it's not something your family's
Mm.
going to eat, then it's not a good item for you to pick
I
up.
know. You're right. You're right. And two, I can think back initially when the kids were real little, I would take the kids with me because we were coming home from work, and I'd pick them up and then off we go to the grocery. Well, I learned very quickly that that's not the best thing to do because all of the kids' stuff is down at their eye level, and they're so good at picking it up and just kind of putting it into the basket. Mommy, I like this, and before you know it, it's in the basket. And that hasn't changed. They have
Mhm.
things strategically placed on those shelves so that we know they'll make sure that we see it. And they've even gotten to the point that they've moved particular items
To the front.
into other places where you wouldn't expect it. And I think they're doing that just so it catches your eye and you'll think, oh, I need that. And you'll pick it up before it's not on the list.
They say the
So,
best
uh,
thing to do is to shop the
mhm,
perimeter first. Like, shop, like,
mhm,
let's say if this is the store, then you're
mhm,
gonna, and this is the back, the side, and the other side, that you should shop
mhm.
around the edges first, and then go into the
Absolutely.
middle. Because all the produce, the meat, the dairy, all those things are around the edge. And here
Mhm,
we end up
mhm.
going up and down and curling through the aisles and picking up all the processed foods and things like that. So
Mhm,
that's
mhm.
certainly something to think
Yeah,
about. And I know one of the things I'm trying to encourage my young moms to think about is buying less processed foods and making things themselves. Like instead of buying
absolutely.
those cans of chunky soup that you might have on the
Mhm,
weekend for the kids' lunch, Make your own
Mhm.
pot of soup and make enough for a couple days, put some in the freezer because it's just going to be more budget friendly.
Absolutely, absolutely. I focused on. I don't know if you had a chance to watch Saturday, but I did two soups actually on Saturday, in addition to another dish, and looking at time saving as well as money saving meals. And
I'll
you
have
know that's hmm.
I'll
I
have
didn't
to
hear you. You
I'll have to catch it. I missed
okay?
it.
Yeah, you got a lot of stuff going on. And but you know what, they and Elizabeth is saying that she said Aldi's has great prices, but they don't carry name brands. That's true. And you
Mhm.
do have to get used to their brands and find what it is that you like best. And we've shopped them enough at this point. I have particular things that I only buy at Aldi's because I like them. um this is Melinda saying that they used to put sale items on the end of the aisles in the groceries. And, people would automatically pick up whatever was on sale. And so now they're putting the regular price items in the same place. So, and you're just so used to picking up thinking it's on sale. No, it's not. So you really do have to be mindful as you walk through, because they're trying to survive, and I understand they're trying to survive, and we are trying to survive. um, I am a definite proponent of meal planning. I see Melinda saying that she doesn't meal plan. She said we eat the same stuff all the time. Well, Melinda, it's I thought about mealtime, and I thought about, my mom had on Monday you did so and so, Tuesday was such and such, Wednesday was this, Thursday and Friday was always fish, Saturday was usually hamburger, Sunday was fried chicken, and so you
Did we
knew
all have
you
live in
knew
the same house? Said we
ahead
must have
of
lived in the
time.
same house.
You knew what it was going to be. But you know what? It was easy for her to grocery shop and easy for her to keep things in check with the budget. Um, she was saying something about, I missed it. She was saying something about cat food, and Blue Skies is cracking up laughing. She says she has cat food in the kitchen because she used to feed the kittens that took up resident on her ramp. You know, Blue Skies, that's so funny. I had a long conversation with my neighbor that I craft with. We've been trying to get through a project for the spring, and the weather keeps getting in the way. But she takes in every homeless cat there is. Any little cat that's out here that doesn't have a home, he ends up over there with her. She goes through a ton of cat food. So she is forever trying to go to a bulk store so that she can find additional cat food. And I think that's really nice. But
Mhm.
it's like, okay, I'm just trying to feed the two-legged folks that are coming in and out of the house. So we just do what we got to do. But um, one other thing that I thought about, a lot of our credit cards now. I know I'm trying to cut mine up, but
Oh.
some those who still have their credit cards, many of the newer credit cards are cash back credit cards, or you
Mhm.
can use some of the cash back apps, and those apps, you have to upload your receipt to the apps, and then they basically pay you for shopping. Now, I haven't tried any of those. Have you tried any of those, like Ibotta or any of those?
I've not tried those, but I think Larry and Hope talked about that as one of the things that they do to try to
Mhm,
save money. I don't
mhm,
know. I can only manage so many different devices or apps or different things like that. And you get your head so full with so many things. I've not tried those.
mhm,
And now Elena at the Organized Money, she pays everything with
mhm,
her credit card. They buy all their gas, their
mhm.
groceries, anything. But at the end of the week, she pays the credit card.
She pays.
Every week she pays, but
Okay.
because she said she likes to do that because they get points.
Mhm,
And so she collects those points and she's able to use it for other things. I'm not that
mhm.
disciplined, so I'm not.
No. Well, I'm not either. So for me, as an ixnay, and plus, you got to make sure that you upload it, and that's just one more thing to do. And so I can't do that. I can't get into it, but it's available for those who like. I think the younger homemakers like
Mhm.
it because
Yeah.
I've seen several who are using them. And I mean, they're getting paid, but they are using those credit cards, and they must be like the young lady you were talking about, where they literally take everything and they're
Mhm.
uploading it to that app, and they're getting significant amounts of money back for doing their shopping. Um, for those of you who may be new that are on today, both Denise has techniques that she's using with shopping and building out your pantries, and I have the 1 month one shop plan that I use as well with menu items, and so you have a variety that you
Mhm.
can choose from. But ultimately, it really comes to where you are working through whatever that plan is that you try to start. And it doesn't matter whose plan you use, just
Mhm.
use a plan. Even
Yes.
if you get a little post-it note or something that you're putting together and you have a list, you go with your list, whatever it is.
Mhm.
And my thing about the apps is, and I know kids are using them all the time. I
Mhm.
don't like downloading all that stuff on my devices because I don't know about you, but we've had a couple of things where, when we've downloaded, we've ended up with viruses and whatever else that have come about. So I'm just saying, if you like doing those kind of things, go for it because it's certainly something to think about.
Mhm.
For young households, I know I struggled when I first got married with trying to figure out how much should be budgeted for your money, for your meals,
Food.
trying to work out that food budget, and that's something to deal with based on the number of people that you have. And I'm gonna read this to you because I went to the United States Treasury just to see what they had to say. And they say that the average cost of groceries for the United States household is about $4,942 based on the 2020 data.
Oh.
And they said this works out to be about $412 per month for the average family. So that's like two adults and at least one and a half child. That's what, they're looking at.
$400 a month?
So grocery, that was what they suggested. That was to me, that's bare minimum. Because, for the two of us, that works. But you add another child in, that's something else. And let's not add the dog. And so grocery spending, needless to say, has increased during the pandemic. They also said that they have a formula, and this was kind of cool. Their formula was called the 50, wait a minute, let me get it. 50, 30, 20 plan. 50, 30, 20 budget. That's what they call it, a 50, 20, 30 budget. And to help with getting young people to figure out what their food budget should be. Now, the 50% of your monthly after tax incomes are for your basic needs like groceries, housing, transportation. That's your
Mhm.
50%. The 30% is for your wants. That would be like your meals out, your entertainment, or travel. The 20% would be for savings or repayments, where are even loan payments where you are those payments you're trying to make beyond just the minimum of what you may be trying to pay back. And so the 50, 30, 20 just gave you a good estimate as to where you could start. And I thought, well,
Hmm.
when you look at your budget, you probably end up pretty close to that, pretty close to that. thinking that most of your basic needs would be your grocery, your housing, and how you're going to get around. And so, what they said is that if you find that the amount that you have allocated for your housing, groceries, transportation, that 50%, if that's not enough, then of course you got to borrow from the wants area. So I
Mhm.
guess the wants area really comes out basically as cushion. So,
Yeah.
if you've overspent in those other areas, then your wants is going to be a little less. Now, Dee's saying that um, she says her food budget has drastically changed. She says she's had a recent stock up in meats and pantry due to the world events. She said it blew her budget. I understand, Dee. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. I had to bump mine up a little bit, and it's just two of us. So we are dealing with we are dealing with changing times, and it's hard to think about. I can't imagine for a young new homemaker who's trying to navigate all of these changes. Most of us who are talking, we have had budgets, and we have had to deal with budgets and fluctuating budgets. But everyone has not had that opportunity. Melinda's saying, whoops, hold on. Melinda is saying that they've never had to budget because they don't spend a lot. But she said recent events may force her to have to budget. That's probably true. And certainly, to be honest with you, we've had times when we've had to take a look at the budget, take a look at how much we spend. But that was when I was working every day, didn't worry about it, just did what I had to do. And probably the least came into that spending area, that savings area where I just didn't save enough. I made sure we had plenty of food and transportation, all those kind of things, and just cut back on the amount that I put into savings. Um, Melinda saying that her hubby is close to retirement. And, retirement makes a difference. I don't care what kind of company that you worked for, and how much you made in that company, there's going to be a difference. And it may not be a hard hit, it may be a light hit, but still, you're going to have an adjustment that's going to have to be made, and you have to do that. Um, Dee saying that she didn't start budgeting until a few years back when she went on one salary in the home. You know what? Wow. Wow. Now I can tell you, Dee and audience, we have a friend who that's how they paid off. They paid cash for their house, and how they did it was that. But this was something they did from the very beginning. They started from the very beginning. Her salary went in the bank, and they figured out how to live off of his salary. And so over a few years, they were able to accumulate enough money for them to buy their house cash straight out.
Mhm.
Amazing. I thought that was so cool. So because they had started that process, they kept it going. So they were always able, whatever it was, whether it was a car, boat, whatever it was, they were always able to pay cash. And that's really cool. I think, that there were times that I'm sure that they wanted to maybe do a little something else here and there, but because they were trying to stay in their budget,
Mhm.
they stayed within it no matter what. But it's paid off ultimately. Um, she's Linda is saying that that's what she usually tells young couples to do, and that she thinks that that's a good deal. It is. It's amazing, and it's hard if you've been in your relationship for a while and then try to switch over to that, because both of you have gotten so used to having pretty much your own money or whatever it is, that sometimes coming back together with that one doesn't want to let go, of their money. But it depends on the budget. It depends on the budget. We what we do is that Conway's got his in, he has a certain amount, I have a certain amount, and then we have a joint amount. And
Mhm.
that has worked. That's worked over the years. So I can't, complain with that. Um, Blue skies? Explain. She says she's not going to be buying meat anymore, so her bill is much cheaper. Oh,
She
oh, oh,
says
I
she's
see, I
going to
see,
be
I
going
see.
vegan. She says she's going to be
Yeah,
going
she's
vegan.
wow. Good for you.
Now we are
Wow.
exploring plant-based options. Like I said,
Mhm,
exploring. So like I might make
mhm,
a meatless meal once a week, but he'll be like, okay, so this
mhm,
is it. So we need to have some meat on the table
mhm,
tomorrow.
mhm,
So we've been exploring those options. But I tell you what, if you think back to the way people used to cook, like our
mhm,
grandparents might have used to cook,
mhm.
they didn't always have meat every single day. And if you look at
That's
some of the
right.
campaign slogans from way back in the day, like a chicken in every pot and all
Mhm,
that kind of stuff, folks
mhm.
didn't always have a chicken to put in the pot. So you might have
No.
big chicken dinner on Sunday and you'd have your meat and your potatoes, your dressing, whatever, your dessert. But then for the rest of the week, it was something very simple and maybe you had a small amount of meat. I remember my mom used to cook one chicken for our entire family. There were 6 kids and my dad and her. Like, how did she feed all of us with one chicken? But she cooked one chicken
Mhm,
and she cut the chicken up into 8 pieces. You know, you got the 2 legs, the two
mhm,
wings, the thighs, cut the breast in half, and then there was the back. And that was what she cooked. And you
mhm.
filled it out with your potatoes or your rice and your vegetables and your bread and your things like that. And if nobody was hungry, and
Mm,
we might have to revisit some of those times where we don't have quite
that's
as much meat. Because I mean, do you
right.
really
Mhm.
need to have a quarter of a chicken for a meal? I don't know.
Not usually.
I
You
don't.
know,
I might
we
have one.
I don't.
Yeah. So
I may eat a leg, the big guy might eat, a thigh, and then the rest of the chicken is usually ends up going into the freezer to use somewhere else. But, we don't need a whole chicken at this point.
yeah.
But you're
So what
absolutely
I'll do
right.
when
You're
I like if
absolutely
I get a rotisserie chicken at Kroger, I'll cut it in half right
mhm,
away. The other day,
mhm.
I hadn't cut it in half yet, but I was asking him like what he wanted. And he was pointing to the other side of the chicken. I said, no, you have to eat on this side of the chicken. He was like, well, what's wrong with this side? I said, nothing, but that half is going in the freezer. He said, well, I like the left leg better than the right leg. And I'm like, look.
Was he messing with you?
I'm like, okay, you go ahead, cut the chicken in half. And then I put the other half
Mhm,
back in the rotisserie wrapper and put it in the fridge. And then it's
mhm,
like, okay, you can have as much off of this half as you like, which he had the
mhm,
thigh and the leg, and that was it. And so it's like we could
mhm.
probably have 3 dinners off of one chicken for just the two of us now.
Exactly.
So those
Mhm.
are some things that I think we have to think about. But I hear that Costco sometimes will have those rotisserie chickens for $5. Now,
Yes.
so he has
Yes.
a fishing buddy that goes to Costco's, and when he's out there and they have the
Mhm.
Costco chickens, he'll call and say, "Do you guys want me to pick up some chickens for you?" I'm like, "Yes, pick up
Mhm.
3."
Mhm. Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do. My neighbor and I do the same thing when we're going to Costco because it's just he and his wife as well. So when we're going to Costco, we
Mhm.
we that's our thing is to go and see if they have it on sale. If they do, we pick up so many for each one and then bring it home and then bag them. But
Yeah,
it's this is a force to be reckoned with, and it is
well, it
certainly something
is.
that we're navigating every day
Every
because
day. You
things
know,
are
when I got
changing.
groceries last week and I bought this family size
Mhm,
pack of chops, there were 8 chops in the pack.
mhm,
So I thought, okay, I'm
mhm,
going to put 2 chops in a bag and then we'll have 4 meals.
mhm,
So when I was getting ready to bag him
mhm,
up, he just happened to come in the kitchen. I don't know what he was doing. So I said, okay, honey, so I'm going to put these chops 2 in a bag, or do you have to have 3 with the meal? He said, well, he says, I want 2. He says, why do I need to have one? I said, okay. I said, but then he says, well, how many are there? Because that was going to leave an uneven number. I'd have 3 bags of chops instead of 4. He said, well,
uh-huh,
fine. You can just put 2 in a bag and then we'll have it, like 4 different meals. But he says, and they're good sized chops. But I thought,
mhm, mhm.
he didn't have if I have enough other things, you
Right,
can put
right.
just one chop.
I do a stir fry. That's what I do with the odd pork chop. I chop it up in cubes and throw it into a stir fry.
Yeah, I didn't think of
And
that.
yeah, that gives us a different meal and
Yeah.
something to do with the odd. But we're eating less meat. I probably have at least two meatless meals per week. And now that we're getting more and more into spring and the vegetables are going to be getting better, we do salads. I love the
What do
big
you do
salad.
for your two meatless meals? What do you make?
Sometime it's like a soup, some type of soup. It may be with beans or lentils or something like that.
Mhm.
Um, Sometimes I'll use the crumbles the vegan crumbles that you can get in the
Mhm.
store and throw them in. Like if I want to do a meatless spaghetti, combine
Mhm.
the crumbles and the spaghetti sauce, put them together. Nobody even knows. I've done that with the grandkids
No,
who just swear they won't eat it, but they do.
yeah, I thought about the processed meatless food items,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
I don't know, the vegetarian sausage or whatever. And I
Hmm.
just have to ask myself, what's the point of me purchasing that? I'm trying not to buy those kinds of things.
Hmm.
I'm trying to save money by if I'm going to do meatless, it's going to be beans or rice, or I can do beans,
Hmm.
corn, and do a couple combinations that I can still get the protein in, like you said. But I'm
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
I don't want to do the processed sausage because it's expensive. You buy
It
those,
is. I don't get it.
and I'm like, okay, so I don't want to try those. So what
Hmm.
I've done, like I made a vegan chili that was really good, and it was just the beans and the
Hmm. Hmm.
corn and lentils
Hmm.
and tomato products
Hmm.
and different things like
Hmm.
that. Um,
Yeah.
Girl, I made those carrot hot dogs.
What'd you
Now,
think about those? You
so
see me turning my nose up
yeah,
already.
so I learned about
Oh.
um, um, I think it was Larry and Hope on Under the Medium had talked about these carrot hot dogs. So I said,
Uh-huh.
okay, we're gonna do a meatless meal, and I'm gonna make the carrot hot dogs. Well, the first day I
Okay.
was going to do it, I didn't realize you had to marinate the carrots for like 4 to 6 hours. So I couldn't do it that day. So I marinate the carrots. I thought we'll have it tomorrow. Bought the hot dog
Mhm.
buns. And when you make them, you have to like cut the carrots to about 6 inches. And they encourage you to make sure the carrots are about the same size. So if you need to trim it down so it's about the same size and it fits into the bun. Marinated the carrots for overnight, and you put in all these
Mhm.
different seasonings, and then you cook the carrots until tender, not soft, but
Mhm.
just tender. So there's still a
Mhm.
little bit of crunch to them. They were actually
Mhm.
pretty good. Put them on the bun, and I made a vegan chili to go with them. So we put vegan chili on top because I like chili dogs and stuff like that. So I put
Mhm. Me too.
the carrots, and it was pretty good. But we're not gonna have it again. And I tell you, we're gonna be having it again. So my husband said, and he's really good. He'll eat whatever I cook. I learned that from when we were first married. But a few days later, he'll say, "Well, let's not have that again." So that lets me know he don't like it. But they were okay. But it was interesting to have all of this bun around the carrot. That was just
Mhm.
odd to me.
Mhm.
So to just
Mhm.
cut the carrot and eat it by itself, it was actually quite good. So I had made 6 carrot
Mhm.
dogs. We ate 3. So with the other 3, I cut them up into small cubes and just put them in the vegan chili because I usually put carrots, and they were
Mhm.
delicious. But we won't be having that again.
Tell 'em, I'm with your hubby. Mm-mm. Now I do when I'm doing my garden chili. I throw some carrots in there, and that keeps a little sweetness because
Yeah.
sometimes your tomato sauce can be a little bitter, and so
Yes.
it helps with that. But no, I think if I did that to the big guy, he would absolutely faint. I just have to pick him
He
up with
ate
a
it.
shovel.
My big guy ate it, but he's like, let's not have that again.
I'd have to roll him out of here. That would be the end.
Now the carrots by
Well,
themselves though were actually quite tasty.
right.
So if they were
Yeah.
like a side dish, you would love them
Mhm.
because they were really
Okay.
delicious.
Okay.
It was just to have it on
Mhm.
the bun was just so odd. But the carrots themselves
Yeah.
were really quite good. And they tasted
Okay.
wonderful in the chili. They really were good. I
Okay.
think I just couldn't wrap my head around a carrot on a bun. I,
Yeah. I'm so not feeling that.
we won't do it again. I take that back. I'm not saying we won't do it again. Because you know, they say never. Please, God,
That's
never
true.
get into a situation that we have to do it again. Let's put it
That's
there.
true. That's true. And
Yeah.
one more thing. One as in the words, one more thing because we're lunchtime's almost over.
Oh,
And but one more thing is that um for those young moms who are just getting into developing your home and trying to get your home routine, think about this. As your little ones are coming up, and as a grandmother,
mm,
I'm going to say this. I think the best advice I ever got was to make sure that as you're serving your meals, make them pleasant for the children, but also let them know that what is on the plate is dinner. And
mhm,
that way, and even if you only have to put one little bean, two
mhm,
little peas, one little piece of broccoli, whatever it is, so that they taste all of it and they
mm,
learn to eat it.
mhm.
Because there's going to be times, and we are certainly looking at those
Yeah.
times. When I look at the news and I see what's going on in Ukraine, do you think those children are getting picky about what's coming before them? They
Oh,
are eating whatever is put before them. And this is not the time to go, oh mom, I don't like that. Teach them while they're little how to eat and that we eat what is before us. And so, that's the best advice for young moms that I can certainly say. And I know you've had your family and learning, we give them little treats, but don't you
yeah.
think that's a good word?
I think that is absolutely correct. And you know, Leona, as a grandmother and then from working in community health and just kind of seeing, we
Mhm,
used to have this program where at the different schools, we had the farm to table. The farmers would bring in different vegetables to different schools, and then the
mhm,
kitchen would sort them out and they would wash them up and slice them up, and then they would be presented to the different classrooms, just a little slice. And half the time, the kids would turn up their noses at them. And we have to present our children with a wide variety of foods. We have to teach them to
mhm,
enjoy other foods. And like you said, they may not like it when they first get it. And for so
mhm,
many kids, it could be a matter of textures and taste and things like
mhm,
that. But even if
mhm,
you just give
mhm,
them like a little spoon or just two or three peas and be like, well, you have to have three
mhm,
bites before you can say no, thank you. And then the
mhm,
next time
mhm,
you have peas again, well, you got to have three bites before you can say no, thank you. And I could see that
mhm,
my kids really didn't like, well, two of my three children really didn't like peas. And my husband didn't
mhm,
particularly care for them either. So I said, okay, I won't cook peas. I just won't make
mhm,
peas for this family. I says, but everything else I cook, I expect you guys to eat it. And that's what they did. And I
mhm,
didn't like potato salad either. My husband didn't care much for that. So I didn't make potato salad.
mhm,
So I would only get potato salad
mhm,
when I was home, like for family meals or whatever. And my sister always made it. So we have allow our children to explore other food options so that they can
mhm.
enjoy other food options, but they won't if they don't learn to begin that habit at home. Because you're right, because those kids in Ukraine right now, trust me, they're going to eat whatever their parents are able to find.
That's right. That's right. And I Saturday we started something of where we're burning our candles and saying a little prayer in the mornings, and for our people of Ukraine. And certainly we need to continue that. where we
Mhm.
are thinking of them as we get up each morning, as well as those who are right here in the United States. Because
Yes.
while true enough, we are not living in a war zone, we have people around us
Mhm.
who are having issues finding food and
Yes.
people who are hungry. So wherever we can throw in and we can help, let's do that as much as we can.
Mhm.
Um, Denise, I am so thankful that you were able to come on today. It has been so much fun, and
I think
we
you
always
missed
have a good time.
me.
Yes, absolutely. And you need to look at your calendar and tell me what you think about the. We're gonna talk about this on the, wasn't the 19th our day that we were supposed to get together? Morning
Wait.
of the 19th, Saturday in the kitchen.
Oh, that's Saturday? Wait a
Uh
minute.
huh.
Mm, it's March now. Yeah. Yeah, 19th. We're in the kitchen together on the
Okay.
19th.
All
What are
right,
we
guys,
making?
you heard it, huh?
Yeah, I got it on here.
We'll
What are
figure
we
out what.
making?
All right, we're I don't know. We'll work it out. We're not
Okay.
gonna tell them whatever it
Yeah.
is. We'll
I
work
gotta get me
out
some
whatever
one
we're
pot
gonna
meal
fix.
done. So I was thinking about that. I was sitting here looking at, okay,
That
one
sounds
pot meal
good.
I did. And I was cooking yesterday. I had to take, let me just tell you this real quick and then I'll get off because you know I can
Mhm.
just talk forever.
It's
And
okay. I know.
I got that other half of the chicken out yesterday to cook for Sunday dinner because you know you have chicken on Sunday. But I wanted
Uh-huh.
to make it look like it was fresh. And a couple of the people that's in our group say that their family
Hmm.
don't eat leftovers. So they have to
Right.
make it, get it out and make it look like it's a whole fresh meal. And so what I did
Hmm.
was, and I don't know if I filmed this or not, but what I did was I got out my carrots, my onion, my celery, put it in the skillet, put that chicken on top, seasoned it up just like I was making a turkey. Now the chicken is already cooked. So I'm just, all I got to
All
do is,
right.
but the vegetables had to be cooked. So when I put that chicken in
Hmm.
there with those vegetables on top of the vegetables,
Hmm.
added my different spices and things like that, put a lid on it. My husband's like, smells like,
Hmm.
like he thought it was Thanksgiving. And the chicken was
There you go.
delicious. And I had all those vegetables
Hmm.
in there. I had the celery, the carrots, and the onions. The carrots was a side dish. And I made a box of Kroger cornbread stuffing. The stovetop that I had
Oh.
was turkey stuffing. I don't know how I got that one because I typically don't buy that kind of stuffing. If I'm going to buy a box stuffing mix, it's
Hmm.
going to be cornbread stuffing. It was really good. Took me 2 minutes to make it.
Oh.
Like, wow. But less than an hour for a Sunday dinner, which was pretty good. Now we didn't
All
have any
right.
dessert. I'm like, we didn't have any dessert, but I was cooking what was in the kitchen. I'm like, I'm not buying a
Exactly.
yeah. But it was really good and it
I
was really
know.
easy. So it was something that young homemakers could pretty quickly and easily
Mhm.
do. And their family would think, oh, mom cooked a whole new meal. So,
Exactly. Well, that's something that we'll focus on and we'll chit chat and think about for Saturday because we want to be able to put out some things that are time savers as
mhm,
well as something that is a money saver on
yeah.
Saturday. So let's think about what it is that we're going to do. And for those of you who are here, you've heard it right here. The cooking queens are going to be in the kitchen on
Oh,
Saturday
that's this
morning. We're
Saturday.
looking.
That's right. They're like, wait, that's this Saturday. Okay.
So, needless to say, we appreciate all of you who are here with us and we are enjoying it. And I hope all of you are with us on Saturday morning because it's going to be a good time.
Yes.
And thank you again to Denise. And I hope all of you have an absolutely blessed and wonderful week. Have a
Bye,
great
everybody.
time.